The question of today is very simple. Why we don't remember whatever we learned from the textbooks or from the videos, but we do remember the films, the stories of the films which we have watched many years ago, months ago, days ago. So, why it happens like this? Well, the reason behind it is films have stories, films have characters, films have a whole character arc, a whole emotions involved with them, and that's why they get stored in the episodic memory, which is the long-term memory, and we get to remember all of those stuffs. But where is with the text? It's a fact. It's just a isolated fact. So that isolated fact, for example, uh, Newton was born in this year. Genghis Khan fought this war in this year. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. So these are the facts. They don't have any significance in the real world. But the stories are not a facts. They are interconnected dots. They have a cause and effect. Everything happens for a reason in the film. Tony Stark built the Iron Man. Now, why Tony Stark built the Iron Man? Because he was in a cave. Why was he in a cave? Because he was captured by Afghanistanis. So why was he captured by Afghanistanis? So there's a whole chain of reasoning, a cause and effect reasoning. That same thing does not happen in the textbooks or in the way of learning which we do. And that's why whatever we learn is just an isolated facts, all being stored in our semantic memory. Semantic memory is stored as a single node, whereas episodic memory, where the films gets stored, they're stored as a network of nodes, a network of interconnected nodes, and that's the reason we get to remember things which have stories with them, which have emotions included with them, but we don't get to remember anything which don't have stories. Now, films have stories, and so do they get stored in the episodic memory, which always in the night when we sleep, the episodic memory gets replayed in our brain, and that's why we get to remember whatever is being stored in the episodic memory, which is the films, the stories. But the textbooks, they don't have any stories. They are just isolated facts, so we don't remember. But the actual question is, how do we remember it? Because the main thing is we have to remember those things. There's another problem as well, that we watch the videos and the tutorials, but after watching the tutorials we don't remember any of those stuffs. Now, why it happens so? The reason behind this is fluency illusion, which is you may have an illusion of learning, of understanding, but actually you haven't understood any of these stuffs because the videos have narratives, high visuals, editing, and a teacher teaching these stuffs. But the problem is you are not the constructor of the questions. You are just a receiver of the questions. You don't construct the questions to ask. And that's why you can't remember things. How to break this illusion? Now, the way Richard Feynman suggests is to teach someone. Teach some imaginary 12-year old whatever concepts you have learned. Now, whenever you are going to teach, you will break at some points. Now, that's your gap. You have to understand that gap, ask questions on those gaps, and then iterate and then go on. Another way is write down on a paper whatever you have learned. And one of the most effective way is learn from first principles. Now, what do we mean when we say learn from first principles? Well, when we say learn from first principles, it means learning from bottom to top. It means asking questions from the very bottom, like what is this? Why is this so? What was before it? Why it happened like this? And then going to the way to the top. That's the hierarchy. Not the from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. You ask questions until you get answers. You ask questions recursively. Now, with today's date, when there are so many LLMs in the market, there are AI in the market, the effective way of learning is to ask as many questions as you can, and that's the most effective way. So thank you. Bye.